Okay, here is an article from the Ring magazine. I'm just going to read the headline very quick before I proceed with the rest of the article, because it pretty much tells you everything you need to know. Daniel Dubois to pursue Oleksandr Usyk fight next. Viral infection caused Joseph Parker pullout. Daniel Dubois will pursue a fight with Oleksandr Usyk next rather than revisit a clash with Joseph Parker, the Ring has learned. Dubois, the IBF heavyweight champion, was supposed to defend his title against Parker on last weekend's last crescendo card in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, but had to pull out with an illness on fight week. As a result, Martin Bakole stepped in and was knocked out in 2 rounds by Joseph Parker. New Zealander Parker is in a potential position where a world title fight would be the logical next step in his career, but Dubois is now expected to chase a rematch with Oleksandr Usyk, who holds the WBA, WBC, or WBO and Ring World Heavyweight titles. Dubois' dad, Stan Dubois, briefly spoke to the Ring about his son's future plans and what caused him to pull out of his scheduled fight last week with Joseph Parker. He said, "Next we want Usyk. It's frustrating about the Parker fight, but he couldn't fight with an infection. Usyk is who we're going after next. Fight week was going well until he became ill. Everything was perfect. Then he started feeling unwell a couple of days before. He had a viral infection. He had swollen glands and an ear infection. So the doctor told him, I wouldn't fight if I were you. He said you can fight, but after 3 rounds you will be feeling it." As the article just refreshes itself, and I've lost where I was. Here we go. He had these problems before: swollen glands, viral infection. It's been happening for about 8 years, and they usually last 3 or 4 days. He's been all right after that. With this, it was just bad timing that it happened 2 days before the fight. Obviously, it was very frustrating for him and for us. So that's what he has to say there. There's not really much else to say. So, and I have heard rumors. And again, I seen someone post an article, and I actually regret not saving it because I can't find it anywhere now. But I think it was on Friday night. It was Friday night, or maybe sometime yesterday, Saturday, where it said that negotiations were actually underway. Now, I actually can't find that article now. I cannot remember for the life of me who it was, who shared it, or where it was shared actually as well. But I did see that. Now, I guess you could say it comes as no surprise. Daniel Dubois, look, at the end of the day, 2 people got sick on fight week. It's very rare that happens. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen 2 fighters pull out with illness. I have seen fighters do that in the past. I remember actually Josh Kelly was meant to fight David Avanesian way before he actually did fight him. I mean way before, like maybe 2 years, maybe more. Might have even been on the undercard of Bellew Usyk actually. I can't remember exactly which one it was. But he was meant to fight Avanesian, he weighed in, and then he pulled out with an illness after the weigh-in, like literally on the day of the fight. So it does happen. It's very rare you see it happen with 2 fighters on the respective card, but you never know. Things happen, things go around, etc., etc. It was voluntarily done, it seems, by Team Dubois. They voluntarily pulled out rather than go in. You know, at the end of the day, I can get it in that regard. If you know you're defending a title, if you know you have a big fight coming up, or potentially coming up if you get past this, and then you're struck down with an infection, you can still fight, but you know, you're looking at a long distance fight, you're looking at a tough one, and you know you're not 100%. I can kind of see where they're coming from in that regard. Yes, very true. But what I would also say in that regard, surely you should listen. Joe Parker deserves a world title shot. You were going to give him a world title shot. He now doesn't have one. Doesn't have one lined up. Doesn't have really any plans lined up. Surely, after all that, you would revisit that fight, would you not? But apparently not. Now they are planning on rematching Oleksandr Usyk. We kind of knew that was the plan all along. Turki Al-Sheikh made no secret of the fact that he wanted to see the winner of Joseph Parker versus Daniel Dubois challenge Oleksandr Usyk, or look to unify, really is the right word, with Oleksandr Usyk next. And Dubois has been keen on that fight for a long time. Frank Warren actually originally lobbied with, I think it was the WBA, to overturn it, which they refused to. So the people who were saying it was low, well, the WBA themselves didn't even think that, right? Daniel Dubois, after the Joseph Parker fight was announced, obviously gate crashed Oleksandr Usyk's interview with Ade post-fight with Tyson Fury, the rematch. So he's been, looking full steam ahead to Oleksandr Usyk. So for me, it comes as no surprise that they're looking to do that. I would say, probably for Team Usyk, they probably want that fight next too. I mean, I know you would say morally you would like to see you would like to see Joseph Parker, fair is fair, if we lived in a fair world, get his crack at either Usyk or Dubois next. I think he deserves it, but that's not the way it is. And Oleksandr Usyk he's got one foot out the door. He's talking about having 2 fights this year, and if you let the main fight that you're looking for, if you let him fight someone else, one, there's the risk he loses, and two, it just kicks the can down the road further. If you want to fight him in the summer and then close the year off with a fight against whoever, it doesn't make any sense to have the guy you want to fight maybe fight in May. He's never going to be ready for, say, July or August, and then what do you do? So I kind of see it from that perspective. Both guys look like they want to do this fight, and with Turkey, I wonder what way they would do it. Obviously, when the fight happened last, it was in Poland. It was in August of 23. And that was just before we really got the full Saudi experience. Obviously, they've been fights in Saudi Arabia prior to that, but I think that was with Skill Challenge. Turkey hadn't made his presence known. He certainly did after Fury and Ngannou. So you would imagine a fight at that magnitude, they would want it in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I believe Riyadh's season ends in May, if I'm not mistaken. Is it May? I think it is. And then it's back on again in October. So if it wasn't, then it would be a ring show. But ring shows don't tend to happen in Saudi Arabia. So what way would they do it? Would they do it in the UK? That would be epic if they did it in the UK. I'm sure Usyk would like that as well, because obviously he's had great moments and great memories in the UK. So they could do it. It'd be epic. Do a stadium, 100%. No doubt in my mind it would do a stadium, easily. Or they could just do it in Saudi Arabia, depending on what way Usyk is looking. Is he looking to do it in the summer? Is he looking to do it in the autumn/winter? We don't know. Either way, the longer they leave it, actually the more it favours Daniel Dubois. Because I do think Usyk is starting to slow down, although he looked very good in the Tyson Fury rematch. I mean, honestly, go back and watch it. He looked way sharper in that rematch than he did in the first fight. And he won the first fight clearly. He didn't come close to dropping Tyson Fury in the rematch, but he looked really good, really sharp. So there is still plenty left there, but he's at an age where you can grow old overnight. Although saying that, look at Artur Beterbiev. He's older than Oleksandr Usyk, and he's making weight. And look at him. So yeah, I would favour Usyk in the rematch. The longer they leave it, the more chance you would give Dubois. And I think it'll be more competitive this time around than the first fight, which really wasn't competitive. I know what some people was, no, listen. Even in the round where the low blow happened, you could argue Usyk won that round, but that's probably the only round you could give to Dubois in the 9 rounds. It was Usyk the whole way through. There wasn't even any real debate about it. So I think it will be a bit more competitive. But I suspect Usyk would win again. Maybe he wouldn't stop Dubois this time, but he probably would win a very wide decision, or maybe actually stop him again. Who knows? I just think that Dubois against someone like Usyk, that style is just going to cause you problems no matter what time it is in their respective careers. So, of course, I would watch the fight. No, of course not. I would. So it looks like that's the road they're going to go down. In terms of what would happen then with Joe Parker, well, we can talk about that in a separate video. I have heard some rumours circulating that they're looking to do another Matchroom versus Queensberry show. I mean, there you go. Makes sense to do Joe Parker versus AJ2. Queensberry, Joe Parker, Matchroom, Anthony Joshua. There you go. Big payday for both guys. Make Joseph Parker favourite. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section below. For now, I'll leave it there. I hope you enjoyed the video. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe, of course, as always, if you haven't already. And until next time, people, I'll leave it there. Peace.